Michelle, tell us why this movie is near and dear to you.
Well, I was born in the 80s, so I consider myself an 80s baby. I was born in 86, but I grew up watching all martial arts movies. But this one to me was super near and dear to my heart because it was one of those martial arts movies that I could watch over and over and over again. And you just become so invested in the characters and their story that you can't help but be emotional about how the story pans out. Each fighter has their own personal journey, but then they also have a journey with the team. So that's kind of, Tommy and, his brother getting killed by the Korean team, and then him having to fight the same guy that killed his brother. Like, I can only imagine, like, the stakes are high, and then there's like this badass female coach that comes in and kind of just shows them what's up.
It was Shannon Tweed, wasn't it? Wasn't it Shannon Tweed that played that?
No, it's not Shannon Tweed. What are you
talking about? Oh, man.
Sally Kirkland. It was not
right.
Shannon Tweed.
Okay.
Get out of here.
We were just talking about Gene Simmons. I got excited again. Sorry.
Michelle, what was your favorite scene in this movie, if you had to pick one?
I have, honestly, I have so many. And Will, you really did touch on it. And I think about it all the time. Even within my career, it's kind of like so many people are like, how can you do such a violent sport? But honestly, I've met the most gentle souls in fighting. And it is something about coming together through violence and just like having a mutual understanding that this is what we do, and knowing the discipline and the sacrifice it takes to get to that point.
Yeah.
So even though you're like you stepping in the octagon to take each other's heads off, there's this huge respect because they're giving you, their body for that amount of time to be able to display your art. And so there's definitely a huge respect that goes into that. And I always tell people, you go into the octagon one person and you come out a different person because you've given part of yourself and they've taken a part of you.
Wow.
That's an amazing way to put it. And really, people will never really truly understand that unless they walk in that path and they experience like what you've experienced and what other fighters experience. So, that's
but I didn't even say what my favorite scene was. It was okay. So the scene that sticks out to me is when Tommy's like, he has this panic attack where he's realizing that he's getting ready to fight his brother's killer. And then he takes off and he doesn't want to fight anymore. And he's at the gas station and there's this little kid and his ice cream drops off of his cone. Mm-hmm. And then the bigger brother sees that and gives him his ice cream. And I just,
God, I'm gonna lose it in a second now. Wow.
But that part, and definitely the end scene when all is said and done and they kind of just leave their differences behind them and become brothers.
Love it.
Right,
were you already practicing martial arts when the first time you saw Best of the Best, or was that kind of like, was that a starting point in sort of like your martial arts journey?
Honestly, I don't remember. It kind of most all like a blur, I guess. I remember watching martial arts movies growing up. It was just kind of the era, right? Like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Anytime any of his movies came out, it was like a family event. Like that's what we did on the weekends, is watch movies. And then when I did get into martial arts is when we would watch the movies and then pause, rewind, slow-mo, the action, so that we could break down the choreography and try to do it ourselves.